Hey guys, welcome to Lenin 8. In this video, we are going to discuss another Java program to find biggest two-digit number formed by two consecutive digits of any string input. It means if the input is in the form of a string as a number, and what is the biggest number which is formed by two consecutive digits. So is it 66 or 61, 18, 84, 49 like that? So in this, what is our expected result? So for this, the expected output is 98 since 9 and 8 are the two consecutive digits which are making a biggest number. So similarly, to understand the question clearly, one more input string with a variable name called number equals to another number. So in this, what is our expected output? The biggest two-digit number found by two consecutive digits, not random digits. So it is 92. I hope you understood the question. Pause the video and try your own logic here. So let us continue the step-by-step approach to understand this. So first, let me take any string input. This is just for discussion. String some number or n equals to some number I am taking. So string input will be always in double quotes. Some 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, some 9, 5. Some random input. So what is the step-by-step approach to get this expected result? So inside this one, so if this is the given input, so first we have to make a two-digit number. To make a two-digit number, we have to access each of every digit of this given string, correct? So we can access this in multiple ways. We can convert this string into character array, or we can also convert this string into a string array. So for this, I'm just taking this opportunity to introduce one more method which can be applied on strings. That is a split method. We can use a method called split, and we can split by depends on the requirement. For example, if I give any statement called say Java space is space robust, something like this. So if we split this string by using split method and based on the space, how do you give a space character? Within this double quotes, space key on the keyboard, then ending of this double quotes. So that means this split method will split this given string based on the space. Wherever there is a space, that will be splitted. Similarly, so when it comes to our requirement, do we need to split by space? No, there is no space in this given string. Then we have to split by, so because we need every character, so we have to split this string by null or no value. So how do we split that in this approach? So that is, we can simply use a split method, and starting of double quotes, null means no space, no value, ending of double quotes. So this is how we can split by null. Then what is a return type of this split method? This can be applied on any strings, objects. So I'm using n.split. Then this will result as, what's the result type is? Each and every character of the given input, that is nothing but digits. So here, this will become 9, 1, 2, 3, and so on at last 5. So what is this one? It is one array. So the return type of this split method is nothing but a string array. With some variable, we can catch it. I'm not writing the logical part. I'm just explaining the approach. So once we get these digits, then is it possible to access these digits of this string array? Yes. So string array will contain what type of elements? String type of elements. It's not digits or it's not characters. They are of string type only. Internally, they'll be of string type. Then to access all these things, we have to use the array approach. So once, if it is possible to access this 9, is 9 is a string or it's a digit? It's a string. Then how do we convert this 9 string into 9 as a digit? So for that, we can use one method called as parseInt method, which can be applied on any string objects which is present in the integer class. So integer dot parseInt is a method, and which takes any string input. So like by using which variable we can access this 9 as a string format, that variable we have to pass as input here. So this will convert 9 as a string into 9 as a number or digit. Once we get this 9 and then we should get 1, the same approach. Once we get this 9 and 1, then can we make a 2-digit number by using these two? Yes. How to make it? So first number multiplied by 10, then second number we have to add. That's how the end result of this will become 9 into 10 becomes 90 and then 1 becomes 91. Yeah. So once we get this number, next approach, get 192, make it 12 and compare 91 and 12 and store the biggest number in some variable. So that should be the approach. Finally, in that external variable, whichever we are using, the result is going to be the biggest 2-digit number of this given input. Now let us try to write the Java code for this one. So first, I'm taking a method-based approach so that I'll show you through the IDE. So first, this is the starting of the method. So in this, we need one string input. We can take as a parameter to the method. So some string yes equals to, I'm using the same thing, 9123478995. So once we take this one, then what we're supposed to do, we have to implement the split method on it. How to implement a split method? Just now we discussed here. So on this string object yes dot, a method called split, and we have to split by no value or null. This is nothing but splitting by null. What's result type? A string array. Return type is string array, and we can use the any array name other than yes variable. So I'm using something called say s1. And to store the biggest number, we need one integer kind of variable. So I'm using int with variable name called result. The value will be assigned as 0 for the first time. Next, how do we get each and every value of this string array? So for that, we need a loop, obviously. So for int I equals 0, then I should be less than or equals to. First, let me write time being less than or equals to. Later on, I'll conclude it. So here, this loop has to run on this string s or string array s1. It's array. So for therefore, s1 dot. So be clear here. S1 is array. On array's length is a property. It's not a method. So we should be careful. Then followed by each and every character. That's why I plus plus, or each and every array element. That's why I plus plus. So within this for loop, what's the purpose? First get the first index position of the array s1. So this is of which type? S1 of 0th index number is nothing but it's a string kind of thing. That's why I'm storing into a string with variable name called say x or a b, your choice. Then similarly, we need the next one because we have to check or we have to form a 2-digit number. That's why. So then this result also will be of string type. I'm using one variable y. What's next approach? So once we get this 9 as a string and 1 as a string, then we have to convert them into integers by using this method. So how to convert? So it is integer dot parts int is a method, and this takes any string input. So x is the first time, and let me store this result as int type with some variable a. Similarly, one more int variable name b, integer dot parts int of the next y. Correct? Then how do we get a 2-digit number? So we have tried this approach. So that is first a value, then we supposed to multiply with 10, then we have to add the b value. Then its result is what? Another integer. So we don't have any variables declared. So I'm using some int n for some number. So at the end of this line, we are getting a 2-digit number. Then what we supposed to do? We have to compare, right? So what is supposed to compare? By using a condition statement. So because of some less space, let me write here. So continuation for this one. So we have to write one condition. If the assumed variable result, yeah, and if the current value n is greater than result, then in this result, what we supposed to store? We have to store that n value into this result. Yeah. So done. So this is end of if, and then finally end of the for loop as well. So with the same iteration, which will be looped for multiple times till it reaches the last one, then finally we have to print it, the variable result in which the biggest two-digit number will be there. And it's not over. One more important point to remember. So here what we are considering, I and I plus 1. Is there any I plus 1 for last digit? Is there any next digit for this 5? No. So that's the reason this will throw index out of bounds exception, and we can't make a two-digit number with last digit. That's why here one condition is we have to change. What is that? This equals to is not required. Yeah, I hope you understood. This is the step-by-step approach. To execute the same program, I have taken a class with class name number, and I'm taking a method public, and return type is int, and the method name get two digit, and which takes any string input here. And within this method, just now we discussed the same logic. So first, if we have a string as a s variable, so we can apply a split method. You can see from the IntelliSense, and I'm splitting this one by null. That is by using no value, just only double quotes. What's the return type of this one? Return type is a string array and some variable name s1. So once we split this, what's the next thing? We need one variable. So int some temp or result, you can take anything of your choice. I'm taking result and whose value is initialized to 0. Followed by, we need one for loop to run for the entire string array. So int I equals 0, then I should be less than. We discussed clearly. So on s1 is array, on array's length is a property, -1, then I plus plus. Within this for loop, what is the step 1? Take the s1's index portion value. For the first time it is I. Then this result is nothing but one string. It's not int directly. So string some x. And in the next line, so since we need one more, I'm using string y equals to s1 of I plus 1. The next, after having these two, we have to convert them into integers by using a predefined class integer dot a method called parseInt. You can see from the IntelliSense, it takes any string input and it returns integer. The input is string, return type is integer. So I'm using this one, and one such variable is x, and the return type of this one is int, so we can use any int variable to catch it. And similarly in the next line, so let me take the same thing and copy and paste it in the next line by changing the variable names from x to y and from a to b. So after having these two digits, what's the next step? We have to make a two-digit number. So that is, I'm using some int n equals to a has to be multiplied with 10, then the result has to be added with b. So this is how we get a two-digit number. Once we get this number, what's the next step? Check the condition. What is the condition? If this n value is greater than our assumed variable called result or not. So if yes, what we supposed to do as a one line of statement? So we have to assign that n value to the variable result. I'm sorry. Result equals to n. So if this is done, then it's the purpose of this for loop, and I'm not using any curly braces for this if condition. Then finally, what we supposed to do outside the for loop, as the method syntax says that int is a return type, then we have to use mandatory return statement. So return, in which variable the result is there? In result variable the result is there. So return res. So now we don't have any errors. So till we write this return statement, since our return type is a data type, then we will be getting the error. So we have to complete our syntax. I hope you understood. So let us go for the execution. So for this, I have taken a class with the main method and a scanner class to read any string kind of input from the keyboard by using next method. And here to access this number class related method, so we have to create the object for that class, some number n1 equals to new number and the default constructor call. And which method we supposed to call here? So I'm using one plus symbol, and in n1 object reference we have a method called as get 2-digit, and which takes the string input and which we are reading into variable yes. So that's why I'm passing this yes variable. So let us save and execute this code. And it is asking us to enter some number. So I'll enter some 9876434 some 99 something. So according to this, which is the biggest 2-digit number? So it's supposed to be 99. So let me press enter. So you can see the corresponding output as here, so which is 99. So will it work for only this input or every other input? So let me re-execute once again, and I'll give some different input this time. So starting with 0, then 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, some at the last characters are not allowed. And in this number at last, I'm giving 0. So now according to this input, what's output? So which is the biggest 2-digit consecutive number? It's a 91. So then we're supposed to get 91. Let us execute this one. So we got the output as, so here also 91. So this is the generic logic which works for any string kind of input, but mandatory we have to give it as a digit format only. I hope you enjoyed this video, and for me to make more videos, please use the comment section to post your questions. Thank you and see you in the next video.